Hey guys, it's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another action figure review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Kaiyodo Amazing Yamaguchi My Hero Academia Katsuki Bakugo. Please don't be mad at me, but I do not own the Deku or All Might. I know. I have the re-release of the Deku pre-ordered, which is coming out in August, and I'm really hoping that they announce a re-release for All Might because I really want that figure. And Todoroki and Endeavor are being made for this line. I know that we used to get figures from Good Smile's Figma line, and I own a couple of those actually, which I'll do a comparison with in a little bit towards the end of the review. But at this point, it might be time to switch to this line because from what I've seen, these figures just look way too damn good. Let's go ahead and talk about the packaging. There's a lot going on with the design here. The top half here, it says Figure Complex Amazing Yamaguchi powered by Revoltech. You also have an image of the figure right there. And then you have the figure in the box with a lot of the contents that he comes with, which he comes with a lot. Bottom half here, it says series number 22, Katsuki Bakugo, and it says the sculptor's name. It has the Kaiyodo logo there. Bottom right also has that My Hero Academia logo. On this side here, a lot of things that were said on the front, but you can see some different color images of the figure right there in the back, kind of looking like manga or comic panels, whatnot. And then we have the figure in the foreground right there without his mask on. On this side, very similar approach. It's the figure in a certain pose, but in the background you can actually see images from the anime, which is cool, and it does say Katsuki again, as well as My Hero Academia. Get to the top here again, it says Bakugo with the My Hero Academia logo and a different image from the anime of Bakugo, as well as Figure Complex Amazing Yamaguchi, Power Revoltech, whatnot. Very colorful box here. Get to the bottom here, it looks like a drawing of his outfit. I think that's what he made originally. I forget if let me know down in the comments. But anyway, we also have a lot of things I don't understand, unfortunately, and with certain language. And the barcode there. We get to the back of the packaging. There's a lot going on here. Just so much stuff going on. The figure in different poses. You get to see different faces and eye parts. You actually get to see on the box that he is posed with the Deku figure, as well as pretty much all of the option parts that he comes with in that little image on the bottom right. Lots to talk about here. Let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. Okay, this thing is pretty well done. There's just a couple problems I have with this figure that I think a lot of people share, unfortunately. But overall, man, this is a very interesting figure to have in my collection. I don't own anything like this when it comes to this company and whatnot, So let's just go ahead and take a look at the accessories. It comes with a lot. I'll try to get through it as quick as I can. Then we'll take a close look at the figure. So like with pretty much every Japanese imports figure, or at least all the ones I've owned, we do have an operation manual for the figure. I would definitely recommend taking a look at this just to make sure that you are, doing everything proper with your figure as best as you can. So I'm going to have to show some of this stuff in this tray right here because taking it out and trying to show you it might take a little too much time. Just looking at it like this, I think you get a good idea of some of the stuff in here. Lots of different eye parts, with pretty much a couple different sizes for pupils for some of these, as well as looking in pretty much any direction you can think of. Left, right, up, down, top left, bottom left, etc. It's just lots of stuff. Now, if we take a look at this alternate face here that he comes with, is an angry face, and those eyes are already in there with the lines. We look towards the back here, and there's a bit of a groove, as you can see, in between the mouth, and it's just kind of hard to see right now, and the eyes, and you would use this prying tool I'm going to show off right here to get in there and remove the eyes. I don't know how many of these different combinations I'm going to be able to show off in this review. I don't know. I'm showing you all these accessories definitely, but I don't know if I'll be able to show you all in photos towards the end. It's going to be very difficult. I'd be taking like 90 photos, We have a pin for when he pulls his grenade arms and whatnot, when he has a certain move. And that's cool. You can pose with that. Thumbs up hands, an adapter piece right there for the stand he comes with. And just let's take a look at this hand so you can get a bit of an idea of what some of the details on these hands look like. We do have this open posed hand with a hole right there for some blast effects pieces. That's very, very cool with some nice green and orange paint on there. These are also more spread out fingers, as you can see. Nice sculpting on the palms. Let me go ahead and pull out one. Look at that. All that stuff is popping out. This is one of the thumbs up hands, so that's cool. A little bit of paint splotching on this exact one. Oh, man. It's not, this is a $95 figure, so I wish there wasn't any of that stuff on here, but it's not the end of the world. We have this angry grit face for his, you know, when he's unmasked. That has a certain eye right there. And then this stern face when he's also unmasked. So that's all pretty nice. This is an alternate headpiece, which is for the back of the head when, you know, he doesn't have these fins or whatever they are on the back there. Basically, you use this for when he's unmasked. So that's very cool with some nice spiky sculpting in there, as well as some nice paint going on. Lots of different blast effects with this more straight. I believe this is for the AP shot, the armor piercing shot. And this one's really cool. This could go into one of the hands, of course, with some orange and yellowish, somewhat translucent plastic going on with a pretty good sculpt. We have two of these really big blast effects pieces, which from my understanding are, if they're not the exact same sculpt, they are similar sculpt. They look like the exact same sculpt. So I'll take a look at one real quick, which has some nice gray, almost black going on in the, you know, to make it look like there's smoke going on in there. And there's a little bit of yellow and orangish going on. It's very, very nicely sculpted. And this is what the bottom looks like. This thing comes with a lot. I have this baggie right here. It comes with a lot of these little wrist pegs, which they could work as wrist pegs, but they also work for pegging a lot of these pieces of, you know, from these effects pieces into parts of his arms and whatnot and hands. So you basically put one of those in here, or you could pop this out because there's already one in here, and then you could just put that in one of his hands. So you don't have to have that big of a explosion right there, and you can put that back on. You can rotate this maybe a little bit if you want to. Maybe it might get stopped in some areas. It's just crazy how much stuff there is. These are, I don't know if it's like a swiping motion, or, you know, you could, you know, layer this here on top of this and whatnot. It's just, man, it's just lots you can do. Lots of stuff's going on. But yeah, this also has some translucent yellow, as well as, you know, fading into orange. So that is really cool. And we get two of these. We have alternate gauntlets here, as you can see, which have these pegs. And we'll show off his arms in a little bit, some of the features. But they'll peg into his arms, which the grenade arms don't have those, unfortunately. We do have wrist pegs on there. The detail on these are awesome. You don't get anything like this with the Figma one. And those arms are really big and bulky, which, I mean, they're grenade arms. They should be. But it would have been nice if those came with these, because this will help you with poses if you want to, you know, have his arms going straight down. Because sometimes he takes them off, which is pretty cool. This has some nice silver paint and some black paint in there as well. We have the extended pieces of the pins or whatnot for his grenade gauntlets. And this is for when he's about ready to fire off a big attack, which they're the exact same sculpt, so I'm just going to take a look at one of these. And they'll peg onto his slots into his forearms on those grenade arms, and it has a very nice silver paint going on there with a hole right there, as well as a couple of effects pieces, but mostly sound effects or visual sound effects, whatnot. Just says boom, all the way from top to bottom. In different lettering, it looks a little bit more, you know, wrinkled or whatnot, or destroyed there. This looks more like an actual comic. These are really cool. Last but not least, double checking, make sure I got everything. In this baggie, we do have this stand, which looks really cool. I haven't seen a stand like this, which has lots of different open ports. The arm right there system, which is very common with a lot of imports figures. The clamp that we get with some import companies, which they have their own, and we have 6 different types of these wrist pegs right there. This thing is stacked. It comes with so many accessories. Let me get this one back out there. There's so much stuff to keep track of. So this figure, I'm just going to go ahead and say it already looks better than the Good Smile one. I don't own it, but I guarantee you this thing looks better than the McFarlane Toys one as well. This is the biggest problem, though. These gauntlets, which I talked about just a little while ago. These pop off really easily. So if you're going to mess around with this and pose it around, these things will be wobbly and pop off. This thing wants to pop off really easily too, and there's silver paint rubbing right there, so that's not amazing. So that's a bit annoying. Just a few things on this exact figure where they were, you know, focused on playability and whatnot, and maybe not play, but posability definitely. Playing around with it, I don't know. The way it feels, like the quality of the paint and the plastic, this thing's definitely not really meant to be a toy. But I just wish that they were a little bit better with this, though. Now, if we look at this alternate gauntlet. There's a hole right there in the arm, and then there's a peg right there, so they'll stick in here and they'll be secure. I don't know why they couldn't do it with this. I'm not entirely sure why. This thing does pivot, so that's pretty cool. Actually, it's just because it's just loose. So let's get that, try to get that back on there. But this thing looks really good. The paint, the green paint, the silver paint, it's really good looking. And the fist too. So I dig that. If you're a customizer, you're going to want to figure out a way to create a peg for this figure, because this thing will fall off. This face sculpt though, the neutral, not, you know, this angry smile face that we get with him. I said it was neutral. Jeez, it's not, definitely not neutral. Looks great. The hair also looks great on this. So I dig that. That face, there's actual sculpting where the black meets the skin tone. The eyes look really good. For separate eye pieces, they engineered this very well to where you can't tell. Like, it looks like it's sculpted on there. So that's cool. There's a truck out there, and a big construction truck. These things, I'm very nervous that they will break and chip off somehow, so that's a little concerning. But they do pivot, so that's good. Maybe that will help with all that. Great muscles and wrinkles going on the front and the back. Now we get to the front here, you see this nice X, some nice orange paint. There's a little bit of a splotch. I forgot where the splotch was. Just a tiny bit right here. I get a little bit more nitpicky with paint apps on more expensive figures, because you're paying how much for this? This thing was damn near $100, and you know, it should have exceptionally good paint. Now, for what I'm seeing, very, and I mean very minor nitpicks on the paint. It's just something I want to point out though. So the skin tone came through pretty well. I liked how they did it. It's definitely molded like this, and they paint over it, but it looks really good. I mean, it looks like skin, so that's good. It's not just like a matte color, you know what I mean? Whereas this is definitely a matte color. And the joint looks a little distracting. This one wants to, this little elbow wants to stick out a little bit more than this one here. So this is easier to pull out, basically is what I'm trying to say. Here's the fists again, looking really good. We get down here, more wrinkles. I already think I talked about those. We get some of those grenades right there, which these are also articulated pieces actually. They're separate there. That's really cool how they did that. I like how they painted some of the silver on, and some dark green on those grenades. Lots of nice black wrinkles, as well as these, there's some stuff going on with this, man. This is interesting. So the thigh cut is at an angle, but it works just fine. You can see that, like that. So that's interesting. We get to the, I don't know what these are for. These are cool. Knee pads have some nice silver paint with some orange all around. We get down to the boots with these orange straps. And then you have some of the orange in the feet as well. These boots have some nice wrinkles and stretching and whatnot. The bottom of the feet look great with the treading. Those look awesome. And then there are some exposed joints. My biggest complaint about this line, from what I've seen with some figures, is that they're very great with the unique sculpts. However, they're just not really, the overall design is not my thing. This thing is focused definitely on the articulation, but also this looks like it fits with the anime. So I dig that a lot. Now we're gonna back out, do some autofocus, do a quick 360 spin, hopefully not blocking the light, so you guys get an idea of how overall this figure looks. It is extremely good looking, and I think that they nailed it when it comes to the detail and sculpting. Just a couple things with a little minor issues with paint, and these things mostly falling off really easily. Now, articulation's pretty interesting, ain't it? First of all, we have ball joints going on here, which can twist and turn just a little bit. We do have a ball jointed head, which I believe this can separate somehow. I don't know why it's not coming off right now, but it's on a ball joint going all the way around up. Look how far up that is. That's crazy. Even with these on, that's crazy. Down like that, and because there's also a neck joint going on here, you have all just crazy range of motion. This already popped off, as you can see here. This is going to be a bit of a problem. We have ball joints that can swivel up, and they can go in and out, whatnot. They can swivel up in here as well. It has butterfly joints. Lots of great range of motion going on in there. So that is also just crazy. We have separate swivel going on in this part of the arm. And then it hinges and it's a single joint, but it bends really far. This thing also is a separate piece that swivels. And again, it allows for swiveling going on right here. Now with the hands, I believe they're on a rest peg system that we showed off earlier, where they can swivel up in here as well as at the hands, so they can go. It's a little bit difficult to do right now because these things are just so freaking bulky. But it can go in and out, and then you can maneuver it to go up and down and whatnot, and it swivels and whatnot. These things also can somewhat swivel. We do have a ball joint waist, so up here, going into the ribs and whatnot, and the chest. These are ribs. I'm an idiot. Swiveling is not the greatest, but it's mostly forward, back, side to side. So lots of pieces falling off on this figure is my biggest complaint, as you saw there. But there is a really great range of motion there, and we do get the swivel going on here, which some of the sculpt you can see some gappage. But you could swivel a little bit. Actually pretty good swivel, forward, back, side to side, whatnot. These things also are on separate swivels. We have a bit of a... No, I don't know what's going on with the legs. I don't know if there's a drop-down method or whatnot, but they can go forward and back, in and out like so. There's a little bit of already a thigh swivel going on into that hip, but then we have the separate one right here that's at an angle right there. So then we have single joint knees there, which they have this ball joint system. You can see, you even see the ball joint in there. So it can swivel here. And man, that's just crazy. It goes side to side. I don't think there's any other swivel at these boots. We do have down. The up is crazy. How far down did it go? You can maneuver it, since there's some gappage, to go down a little bit more. I'm trying to focus that up. I do apologize. And then, of course, it can swivel at that ankle. And it's on an ankle rocker going into the shoe. So that's the pivot. You can take it off there and you can get a better look at that. And then you do get a toe hinge. There is crazy amounts of articulation. Some of it does feel a little too loose at some points. And of course, pieces falling off willy-nilly. But you cannot deny just how crazy this articulation is. So because of how the hair is sculpted, popping this head on here is actually going to be pretty hard. It's going to hurt your hands a little bit. The face was actually kind of hard to get on there too. And this is lined up perfectly with the hole in the arm there, and it's not fitting in there properly. So just keep that in mind. You might need to heat some things up in order for things to fit on here. So for some quick size comparisons, I have the two My Hero Academia Figmas that I own, and yeah, this guy in the middle, these two look like kindergartners compared to the new Bakugo. It's just, wow. I still like Good Smile and Figma, but these are not the greatest compared to this one here. You might as well go with Amazing Yamaguchi. You just see they don't really look that great in terms of quality, and they're pretty short too. Now, if we have some other lines here, on the left we have the SH Figure Arts Jujutsu Kaisen Yuji Itadori. It's going to be a little bit taller, but Yuji's usually a bit taller than normal SHF. And then Bakugo is definitely going to be shorter than a Marvel Legends figure like the Retro Collection Spider-Man there. So overall, the minor problems I have with this aside, which mostly being the grenade arms falling off, a couple of splotchy paint applications in a couple areas, and a few other pieces that want to fall off pretty easily on this guy. This figure is fantastic. It has great sculpting and detail. The paint, for the most part, is top notch, and that articulation really, really works with this guy. I said it before, the line has been known to really have unique sculpts and overall details that I'm just not that really into. It's cool if you are, but it wasn't really for me. But this thing mixes that original look with more of an accurate depiction of how he looks in the manga and the anime, and it's just really, really, it comes through extremely well. That's not even mentioning all the stuff that he comes with, which I'm not going to be able to show off at the end here. There's just way too much to where it's not possible for me, at least. It is really cool that they gave us a lot of stuff. Now, this thing is expensive. It is about $95 to $99 on Big Bad Toy Store. It's about a $100 figure if you're going to get it in the US. I have no idea how much it is if you're getting it straight from Japan somehow, but this thing is expensive, but it warrants the price point, in my opinion. You can get it on certain online retailers that usually have, Japanese imports. So I'll leave some links down in the description below. Japanese imports. So I'll leave some links down in the description below. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.